Welcome to Lead Where You Live, Tucson Voices in Leadership. I'm Jamie Leon-Guerrero.
And I'm Raysun Frost. This podcast is all about real people leading with heart in our community.
We believe leadership isn't about titles, it's about action. And Tucson is full of people making a difference in big and small ways.
Join us as we chat with inspiring voices who are showing up, stepping up, and shaping Tucson's future.
Let's get into it. Hello, and welcome to Lead Where You Live. My name is Jamie Leon-Guerrero.
And I am Raysun Frost. And today we have with us Caryn Paye. She is the founder of Arius Academy, a micro high school that customizes education for students with disabilities, and Southern Arizona Advocates, a nonprofit focused on disability advocacy and empowerment. She's a lifelong Tucsonan and mother of two. Caryn was propelled into advocacy by her son's Spina Bifida diagnosis. For over 20 years, she has championed inclusive legislation, built adaptive spaces, and led systems change initiatives. She serves on multiple boards, facilitates first responder training, and is a certified surrogate parent through the Arizona Department of Education. Caryn is a graduate of Partners in Policymaking and Greater Tucson Leadership CPLA program. Welcome, Caryn. We're so glad to have you.
Hello, guys. I'm so excited. Good morning.
Right.
Good morning.
So we're just going to jump right in, Caryn. We're going to hit you with our first question, which is, where does your name come from?
I have asked my mother that quite a few times because it was really difficult to find any sort of souvenir growing up. Raysun can probably, connect with that. I think my mom's friend was named Caryn, but later in life, I learned that Whoopi Goldberg's name is actually Caryn, and it's spelled the same way as mine. Pretty special, but I honestly don't know. It's been, my sisters both have names that they can get souvenirs. So maybe it's a middle child thing. I don't know.
To make you stand out even more, right?
Yes.
Okay, so where in Tucson do you live? Tell us, we're doing a podcast about Tucsonan leaders. So can you tell us, where do you live and what do you love most about the area?
Absolutely. I grew up in 3 Points. I loved it out there. I think it was really nice to just be one with nature. We literally walked through the desert to get to the park. And now I live on the Eastside, transitioning about 12, 13 times over to this side of town. And I love it here. I think there's a lot of connectiveness on this side of town, and it's easier to get to places like the hospital, which we visit frequently. I enjoy every part of town, but I especially in my heart love the East Side.
When I first moved here, I was an East Sider. I fell in love with downtown and Fourth, so it's kind of moved me a little west. But I can get down with the East Side every now and then. Yeah.
Of the East Side as well. I love being outside of the city area. So yeah. I appreciate the sort of more rural feeling, that it's not quite as crowded. So not that Tucson has a lot of super congested areas, but we're not like Phoenix, but
so we could find pockets somewhere, but
yeah,
we all have our space for now.
Yeah, definitely. So I feel like I love you and I know you, but for the people who are just meeting you and hearing about you and watching, tell us something that most people might not know about you.
Sure. I think a weird thing that people don't know is I used to bowl pretty competitively all throughout my teenage years. Yes, people are very surprised. And, I was able to earn some scholarship money for college through bowling. And it was really through some of those niche riverways that I was able to earn money because we had a low income family. And I just really appreciate the opportunity to be able to earn some money for college. Anyone listening, get your kids in bowling.
I had no idea that you could get a scholarship for bowling in college, right? You never hear about it.
It's a lot of money bowling, right? If you're in that circuit, I know people play for money.
It's a real thing. It's like in the Olympics now. I don't bowl very much now. Kind of a sad story. One of my really close friends and one of my teammates passed away, and it just really took that love out of the game for me. So I stopped playing. But my daughter used to compete, and it was just I felt so like a fondness of being able to watch her do something I enjoyed. So it was fun.
Bowling.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, super weird, but yeah.
Tell us a little bit, Caryn, about how leadership shows up for you in your personal, professional, and Tucson community life.
That's a great question. I'm often asked, how do you lead or what kind of leader are you? And I never thought of myself as a leader until I started getting a lot of requests for resources and help. I'm like, man, I'm actually pretty good at this and guiding people through this process without belittling them or making them feel incompetent, which often I felt going through different systems of care. And it shows up in every aspect of my life, whether it be my business or just helping a friend. It's really just trying to get to the root of the issue and guide them there themselves without making them feel like they can find the answer themselves, because truly they could, but it's easier just to get them from point A to P without belittling them in any capacity.
In a lot of ways, that sounds kind of like what we would define as being like a mentor or a coach.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, I'm a mentor
Yeah.
and a coach. I like that.
Yeah.
Resonate, check, check, check.
Yes, yes. What's going on tonight?
So you are our first guest who is a graduate of the Civic and Political Leadership Academy, class of 2023. I went through it with you. I'm so happy. Best class ever for CPLA. So we want to know, like, what was that impact? Like, do you have like a takeaway? Like, what was your biggest takeaway, or how did that program impact you or like the Tucson community since graduation?
Ooh, that's a really great question. I'm often asked how I started, and I actually thought I enrolled in the lead class, and I didn't realize I did the CPLA. So when I'm hearing about only civics and political stuff in the first session, I'm like, oh my gosh, all right, whatever, let's roll with this. I jump 2 feet in all the time. And throughout the weeks, I not only built a network and community of people, I was able to learn how things happen from the foundational piece, like how a proposition is formed. And my class specifically, we have some pretty heavy hitters: Rocky Perez, Stephanie Miller, Fernanda, and Stephen,
Dude,
and me. So I need this mentor over here. They're all very connected, and I feel called to help in any capacity, and called to help our community. And I think this class specifically has done some tremendous things with the community, and I don't think we would have propelled as quickly forward without CPLA. And I really appreciate, Jamie and everybody being part of this group of ours to make it what it is. It was really special, and I'm really, really grateful that we got to know each other.
love hearing that because again, we talk a lot to like lead Tucson alum, but like hearing that you had some kind of similar takeaways, like the networking, the connections that you're making, like how it helped you kind of like move forward with certain things. Like those are all similar pieces that everyone who's gone through the Lead Tucson program go through. So it was nice to hear that.
Well, you did great, Jamie. I know that you were a participant in this class, and it really made a huge difference knowing that you were alongside us, advocating with us rather than trying to help us advocate. And I think those are different pieces. You can help someone advocate, but advocating along with them just creates a very special bond. And again, we have some really awesome heavy hitters in our class. I don't think anyone really just slid on by and graduated. They are all actively participating in some capacity, and it's exciting.
And now it says that you have championed some legislative pieces,
Yes.
but that it feels, I believe, from what little I know about you, is an inadequate representation of what you have done. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Sure. I guess I'm a really underseller of what I do. And most of the time, as I'm in the thick of it, it doesn't really seem remarkable. Well, in 19 or 2019, I'm just kidding. In 2019, I started a bill for spina bifida, which is a diagnosis my son has. He was not receiving health care through one of the main systems that provide health care in Arizona. And with spina bifida, there's a myriad of different issues that come with it. But with him specifically, it came with, 23 surgeries, lots of recovery and therapies. And it just was mind boggling that this diagnosis dropped off after the age of 6. So that was a bill that I truly championed. And I did for about 5 years. I met with different legislators to see who would sponsor this, move this forward, but it always came down to funding. During that same year of 2019, there was an adult changing table bill that was in session. And we rallied with hundreds of caregivers and spoke to different legislators on making it illegal to do a renovation if they're up to code in the current code status. That's a caveat. We didn't know at the time, it wasn't embedded. They have to have an adult changing table if they have a renovation of over $50,000 more if it's a government building. And that's something that I'm really, really proud of. Unfortunately, it didn't fold out the way that we thought it would because we thought, man, this is a win. Everything's going to change, but it's still really difficult to find an adult changing table in the state of Arizona that's accessible. Yeah, there's been quite a few other ones. There was just some caregiver work that was happening, trying to pay paid providers, like parent paid providers. We sent a lot of emails for that. I was at the Capitol for that. It just seems like, I mean, I guess it's bigger than most, but this is
It's
one
just
goal
a
that
Tuesday.
It's just
I know it really is. I'm sure there's more. I can't. Yeah.
And she's leaving out like the nonprofit that she started, all of the things that she's done, but
Yes, okay, so that started. I was working with a nonprofit that I truly loved. There was a program called Partners in Policy Making that changed to Partners in Leadership, and it was a 30-year program. It had some robust training in there, and we had facilitators all over the country come and talk about what your rights and responsibilities are as not only a parent, but as a person with a lived diagnosis. The agency I was working for at the time, were on the older end of doing old school things. They weren't really keeping up with the times. They were in the midst of losing their contract. And I just knew that that still needed to happen. That training needed to happen. It changed so many lives. And there's so many communities built on that foundational piece of that policy making. And, I thought, why not do it? No one else is doing it. I haven't done it because obviously I got a lot of other things. I started at the school, but yeah, there's definitely a need for parents to know what their inherent rights and responsibilities are, especially right now, like with everything being cut. So, yeah,
Yeah. And you just casually tossed in, I started a school.
I
Yeah,
did.
just by the way, just one other thing I did. I just started a school.
it feels like the episode is just like the casual leader. Like I
Yeah,
don't
that's
know what
right.
it is, but I just love that you're like,
You're taking action, doing things, and people seem to like it. And then it's important to me, so I'm gonna keep going.
It is. It is. I mean, the school thing, I found myself not a great teacher for my son. I wear a lot of hats with him. Being a teacher isn't a great one for me. And I just knew he needed someone to teach him. And I thought, there's more people and more kids that are his age that need to be taught high school curriculum that's modified and to provide that piece of like inclusion. Why not find a teacher and a school to be able to do that? So it's exciting because every student's curriculum is very different. We have kids that are utilizing different devices to read the literature, but they're still participating in a way that's like a 16-year-old would respond. They're still writing on their device boobs. And it's exciting because every teenager, loves thinks boobs are funny. So it's nice and I'm not where I'm at or I'm not where I want to be with it, but it's a great start and I see a lot of potential for it. So
yeah.
yeah.
Well, thank you for everything that you do.
Yeah.
Thank you
I'm so proud to know
guys.
you.
Proud to know you guys.
So we've come to the part where we're going to ask you questions,
Okay.
and then Rayson and I will follow you with our answers as well. What's a lesson you've learned from a mistake or a failure?
I think people burn bridges really quickly and they don't realize how interconnected Tucson is, especially within the disability space.
Mm,
And it is easy to move forward after an apology, but it's really hard to forget what happened. And we all have that inner fire of like wanting to react and respond. And I've burned bridges and I feel terrible. I've apologized to these people 15 years later. And I still sit with it. And I know like next time, maybe not react so quickly. And that obviously comes with age and emotional maturity. But yeah, this newer generation coming in, just don't burn your bridges, man. It's important. What about you guys?
That's, I was kind of hoping you wouldn't pick that question.
Oh, this one's hard.
It's hard. I would say for me, one of the lessons learned really on in moving into the Tucson community is, I'm a transplant. I moved here because I wanted to be here because we came out here for family and hiking and all this fun stuff in the beautiful time of year in the winter for weeks at a time and thought, gosh, it'd be great to live there. And so when I moved here, I think my mistake was thinking that Tucson was a big city. So,
Taking space.
yeah, it is, right? And I don't know what the numbers are. It's a lot. It is a big city, like by numbers,
Yeah, I think
but
we're the second largest city in the state.
yeah, I mean, it's a and it was a
It's so
big
small.
city to me. One of the bigger cities that I've lived in. I've lived in quite a few, but it might be a technical big city. It still counts as a city, right? But it is has much more of that small town, small community, small town feel, the culture of Tucson. And so I think when I first came, I didn't really understand that. So the approach that I took both in when I was looking at jobs as well as just starting out my real estate business was much more for a big city vibe approach. And really what I learned within the first couple of years was, oh, wow, no, this is much more about like just who the connections in Tucson, the community. And I really really learned that, additionally through GTL when I saw the power of what that networking of the GTL community created. So that I think is sort of a mistake or from my part was not appreciating that even though Tucson is very large and it's very big and it is a city, that is not the vibe of Tucson, right? When you have people showing up at galas in jeans and like it has a small town feel to it. And I didn't understand that. And so that's allowed me to become more authentic because I actually love jeans. That's like my attire. You will see me, 90% of the time I'm wearing jeans.
Jeans and a black tee. That's my
But yeah, I think that was something I've learned is getting to know Tucson better and getting to know people in the community and understanding how big and how strong the relationships are within the community. That makes it very different from sort of a big city where people are more isolated from each other.
Yeah. I don't know what is in this shake that I made, but I'm feeling very spicy and like going deep with my answers. Like the one that's coming into my head, man, like I don't really talk about it for like ever. I don't talk about this piece of my life a lot. I was a single mom. I had my daughter. I was pregnant with 17. I graduated pregnant, right? Had her when I was 18. And I think the lesson that I learned from the relationship with her father was damn it, sorry. Oh,
no. Yeah, get it out.
they don't need the other parent sometimes.
No.
And you know what? I wish I was smarter and I wish I had known better because it was a relationship that I was told that had to happen. And we didn't even, not even through courts, okay? Like we just
It's her
also
father.
was
Yeah.
just like, whatever, this is what I'm doing. I'm leaving. I'm moving away. Do what you want. Show up if you want. Like I didn't ever pressure him for that. But like I do remember when we moved back about 5 years later. So she was about 10 then. And I thought she should have a relationship with her dad because that's what everybody tells you to do. And she hadn't seen him for 5 years. So it was kind of just like I forced her to go with him every other weekend. And I made her go when she cried. And they have this weird, funky, it's not even about her, it's about me. But I forced that. And it was the most horrific mistake I ever made because it also ruined a little bit for a while her and I relationship because he was just not a good person. So there had to be a lot of repair and like to go to therapy for this because like I don't think I've really fully apologized even to my daughter who's going to be 30 that like I'm truly truly sorry that I didn't listen to you. And I don't know what would have happened if I did, but like, don't force your kids to do anything. And I'm like really big on like, and like, just if they don't want to do it, like, don't force them to do anything, especially have relationships with people that don't deserve them. That was a big mistake and a failure. And I'm happy I only had to do that with one kid because I can't imagine having to do that with multiple kids or multiple parents, you know? So I don't really talk about my failures often, but that was one I learned very young. Um, and I hope I did I hope I did enough to repair whatever damage that might have caused her because I think I did because she's an amazing human. She's an amazing mom. She's like a better human than me. Like she's just I love that woman that she's become, but I always looked back and thought like how much did I mess her up by doing those things because I didn't know better.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, but so much. I'm going to just say, Jamie, that anyone who is a parent has lived maybe not that exact same experience, but that experience. Like it is, and I'm sure people who also manage teams feel the same way. Like we're not perfect, right? We make mistakes and we make decisions for people that we are responsible for, and they're not always the right decision. And it's really hard. And I know as a parent, it's even more especially hard. There are decisions I've made where I'm like, if only I had known that that was going to happen, if only I had known that would have been the result, I would have done it differently. But we're stuck with the decisions we made, right? And all we can do is try and, make amends and put them in a better position in the future. And but that is really hard. And I feel the same way about decisions I made about my kids' education, not about homeschooling. Homeschooling was great, but the transfer from homeschooling and what happened, especially with one of my kids, was not a positive experience. And I would do anything to go back and change that, you
Yeah.
know? But
Uh, Being a mom is
yeah,
hard.
it's hard. But it's
That
true.
is hard.
It is. It's hard being
It's
a
so
mom.
hard. And I hope that you give yourself some grace because you got to also think with your 18-year-old self, you didn't even have the frontal cortex to make those rational decisions. And we have to think
That's right.
about the resilience we allowed them to give themselves later in life. And I'm in a similar situation as you, Jamie, with actually two parents, two fathers that I have to deal with and my partner. And it's really hard and it's hard to not question yourself and just give yourself the grace because seriously you've done an amazing job and she's an incredible human being and look at the spawn you guys have created with the extras. Your grandkids are amazing and
They are. They really are. And I think that really just attests to like how well she did for herself. You know what I mean? Like she did that all by herself. Like, but anyways, today is just a day.
Yeah.
I'm like, everyone's picking questions, and I'm just like, but I love it. Thank you
Yes.
for. I love this. I love it. I feel safe, especially because like I'm familiar with you too. So like, this is wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah.
and to you, Rayson, like we are 6 degrees of separation here in Tucson. So I'm glad that, you've found that out. But I also hope that, we're all a community and we all want to see each other thrive and survive. So we're your people. We're your people
I
now.
know. I love it. I love it.
Oh,
We are going to end our session with a little bit lighter side of things with sort of
okay.
rapid fire questions. So just whatever comes off the top of your head, go ahead and say. So we're going to start with, do you prefer to work alone or work in a group?
That's hard. I love working in a group. I really, really do. But my time constraint of things is very different than other people's. And because I have to time block so much to get all that I do accomplished, it doesn't always work in someone else's space. So I'm working at 10 o'clock at night when they're working at 10 in the morning. But I love working in a group. I think we all collectively can build off one another to find an answer that will, propel us forward. So I love working in a group. That's a great question. What about you?
But either your rapid
This is
fire.
all, this is
These are
you
the
rapid fire now.
Okay, okay.
We get to,
really quick. All
I
right.
keep
So,
looking at my Clifton strengths too, and I'm like, where does this fit in? Yeah,
what's one thing you're really good at?
time management. I really am good at time management. I time block. I learned that skill a couple years ago. I have ADHD, and it's really helped me in a lot of different ways manage all the different projects I have. But I had to learn how to manage that too. And I think getting on the correct medication helped time blocking. I know that a lot of us adults, especially females, find out later in life we have ADHD, and then we just kind of, oh, that's just how I am. I'm kind of spunky. And without managing it, you're not going to really utilize those strengths to your ability. So,
Brunch or lunch?
brunch, brunch.
What's an experience that made you appreciate life more?
Having my kids for sure. Having my son, I was 21 at the time. I had my daughter when I just turned 20. That was a lot of responsibility having to decide what kind of surgeries he needed at a 21-year-old age. And I'm just really, really grateful that I made the right decisions along the way. And I've made a lot of shitty decisions along the way, but he gave me a lot of strength that I didn't know I had. That was a time.
Try new things or stick to what you know?
New things always. Oh my gosh. You can perfect old things, but I love trying new things. I have that weird mindset where I'm going to master whatever I try and then I never finish it. So,
What's a technology you couldn't live without?
oh, right now probably Chat GPT. I utilize it in most of my spaces, especially within my contracts, my curriculum for the kids. I just think that it needs to be leaned into a little bit more because I think that's going to put us all in an even playing field, especially when it comes to disability space.
Competitive or collaborative?
Collaborative. I wish I was competitive, but I get my feelings hurt. I take it personally.
If you could have any animal as a talking pet, what would it be?
You guys don't know this, but I'm kind of a freaky cat mom and I'm a cat foster. I would love one of my cats, especially to talk to me because I love him the most. And I just think he's like a bonus child of mine, probably because he's so fat. And I love him so much. I just want to know what he'd say.
Fiction or nonfiction?
Ooh, nonfiction.
That's the end of our rapid
Okay.
fire section. Woohoo, you
Yes.
passed.
Okay. And thank you guys.
Yeah, you were great. We had a lot of fun. And really, we just want to know now if you have any special projects or events that you want to promote to the community.
Yes, just get involved. I think that's the best way is jump 2 feet in. I know this newer community and newer population of kids kind of getting into adulthood, they feel lost. And I think just guiding them to stepping into something new is super important and just get involved. Show up where you think you want to enjoy yourself and just say yes. I think just say yes. That's it. There's no specific project. Just get involved.
I love
Love it.
Well, that's our show with Caryn today. Thank you so much for being a guest on Lead Where You Live.
Thank you
Thank you,
guys.
Caryn.
That's a wrap on today's episode of Lead Where You Live. We hope you're feeling inspired by our guest's story and the impact they're making right here in Tucson.
If you love this conversation, help us spread the word. Share this episode, subscribe on YouTube, and tag a local leader who should be featured next.
Because leadership starts with showing up, and we know Tucson is full of incredible people doing just that.
Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on Lead Where You Live.